Yashodanandana Prajajanarandana Yamunatira Vonachari Yamunatira Vonachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Govijana Vallabha Yevarari Govijana Vallabha Yevarari Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Ramanatira Vanachare Ramanatira Vanachare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Viṣṇupada Paramahansa Bhagavad-gītā Sṛṣṭam Sri Srimad Sridhar Goswami Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Viṣṇupada Paramahansa Bhagavad-gītā Sṛṣṭam Sri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrind Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrind Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're continuing with the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the 10th chapter, which I believe is the final chapter. And we're getting close to the end of that chapter as well. And we're on text 43, am I correct? Yeah, okay. So, tataḥ kālāgni-rudrātmā yat sṛṣṭam idam ātmanaḥ sanniyacchati kāle ghana-anīkam ivānilaḥ tataḥ kālāgni-rudrātmā yat sṛṣṭam idam ātmanaḥ sanniyacchati kāle ghanānīkam ivānilaḥ. Others? kālāgni-rudrātmā sṛṣṭam idam ātmanaḥ. ivānilaḥ. Ladies? tataḥ kālāgni-rudrātmā sṛṣṭam idam ātmanaḥ sanniyacchati kāle ghanānīkam ivānilaḥ. Kālāgni-rudrātmā sṛṣṭam idam ātmanaḥ sanniyacchati kāle ghana-anīkam ivānilaḥ tataḥ kālāgni-rudrātmā yat sṛṣṭam idam ātmanaḥ sanniyacchati kāle tataḥ. Thereafter, at the end, kāla, destruction, agni, fire, rudra-ātmā, in the form of rudra, yat, whatever, sṛṣṭam, created, idam, all these, ātmanaḥ, of his own, some completely, niyacchati, annihilates, kāle, at the end of the millennium, ghana-anīkam, bunches of clouds, like that of, anilaḥ, air. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Thereafter, at the end of the millennium, the Lord himself, in the form of Rudra, the destroyer, will annihilate the complete creation as the wind displaces the clouds. Purport. This creation is very appropriately compared to clouds. Clouds are created or situated in the sky. And when they are displaced, they remain in the same sky without manifestation. Similarly, the whole creation is made by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his form of Brahmā. It is maintained by him in the form of Viṣṇu, and it is destroyed by him in the form of Rudra or Śiva, all in due course. This creation, maintenance, and destruction are nicely explained in the Bhagavad-gītā 8:19-20 as follows. Bhuta grama sa evayam bhutva bhutva praliyate ratriyagam eva shakparta prabhavatyah agame parastasmatu bhavanyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaḥ yasya sarveshu bhuteshu nasyastu na vinishyati. The nature of the material world is that it is first created very nicely, then it develops very nicely, and stays for a great number of years, even beyond the calculation of the greatest mathematician. But after that, it is again destroyed during the night of Brahmā, without any resistance. And at the end of the night of Brahmā, it is again manifested as a creation to follow the same principles of maintenance and destruction. The foolish conditioned soul who has taken this temporary world as a permanent settlement has to learn intelligently why such creation and destruction take place. The fruitive actors in the material world are very enthusiastic in the creation of big enterprises, big houses, big empires, big industries, and so many big, big things out of the energy and ingredients supplied by the material agent of the Supreme Lord. With such resources, and at the cost of valuable energy, the conditioned soul creates, satisfies his whims, but unwillingly has to depart from all his creations and enter into another phase of life to create again and again. To give hope to such foolish conditioned souls who waste their energy in this temporary material world, the Lord gives information that there is another nature which is eternally existent, without being occasionally created or destroyed, and that the conditioned soul can understand what he should do and how his valuable energy may be utilized. Instead of wasting his energy in matter, which is sure to be destroyed in due course by the supreme will, the conditioned soul should utilize his energy in the devotional service of the Lord, so that he can be transferred to the other eternal nature, where there is no birth, no death, no creation, no destruction, but permanent life instead, full of knowledge and unlimited bliss. The temporary creation is thus exhibited and destroyed just to give information to the conditioned soul who is attached to temporary things. It is also meant to give him a chance for self-realization and not for sense gratification, which is the prime aim of all fruitive actors. Om Ajñānatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshumilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Kam Karoti Vachalam Pangalandaya Kripa Tamham Bande Shri Guru Tarinam Paramananda Marvam Shri Chaitanya Ishvara. Tataḥ kālāgni-rudrātmā yat sṛṣṭam idam ātmanaḥ sanniyacchati tat kāle ghana-anīkam ivānilaḥ. Hare Krishna. This Srila Prabhupada's purport begins by expounding on one of the terms in this verse, ghana. We sing this word every morning when we sing samsara dhava nalalita loka janaya karanya ghana-anīkam. Ghana, the clouds. He describes how it's a very apt analogy, something we all know and experience. We see clouds form in the sky, and we see them dissipate, and we can understand that they're forming out of the air. Within the air there is water, and by certain conditions of atmosphere, those molecules of water combine together and they clump together and they form clouds. And as the wind blows, they change their shape. And as the atmosphere changes, they evaporate and the water within the clouds comes back, or sometimes it falls down as rain. In the prayers that we sing every morning, we compare the mercy of the spiritual master to that rain, which can extinguish the dhavana-lila, the fire of this material existence. Fire also appears in this verse, because it is fire that ultimately winds up this creation. I learned this morning as I was preparing briefly for this class that the creation is described in two terms. There's sarga and visarga. And those of you who are scholars will already know this, but I was not fully appreciating the terms. Because when we think of creation, we hear of creation in this Srimad Bhagavatam, we actually hear it, and it's described in the beginning of this chapter, that there is the primary creation and the secondary creation. So the primary creation is the sarga, and the secondary is the visarga. And this particular verse is dealing with the visarga, the secondary creation. The primary creation brings forth the elements themselves, the ingredients, all of the things that have to manifest in order for something to be created. You want to create something, first you have to assemble the ingredients, correct? So the ingredients have to be supplied, and then they become manipulated and transformed into some forms of creation. And this is what Brahma does. Brahma organizes the whole affair. Every day he does it. Every day. Can you imagine? You go to sleep and there's a fire that destroys everything in the world. You're in charge, you know, it's your world, you created it, you made planets, you made everything, you did so many things, and you had a full day of activity, all this, there's demigods and demons and all kinds of things going on, all this activity, it's all, you know, how long is it? It's 4 million years, I think, is, or what's the length? No, 1,000 times 4 million, right? So it's 4 billion years, more or less. Our years, right? 1,000 kalpas and one kalpa is 4. Anyhow, so 4 billion years. So 4 billion years of stuff going on, planets and this and the demigods fighting and all kinds of stuff, and then get tired, go to sleep, and then a fire comes. There's a warning. You hear a sound. You hear Lord Śiva beginning to dance. Tandava, right? He begins to dance, and he dances, and he dances, and as he dances, this fire emanates and engulfs everything. Brahma's this, I don't know if he watches this before he goes to sleep or not. It would be quite a show, wouldn't it? But it would also be quite a lesson too, because this is his creation, right? He engineered it all, he got it all together, he came forth and so on, and it's all finished. Goes to sleep, wakes up in the morning, starts all over again. Starts all over again, bringing forth all the... This is his service. We, in our service to Krishna sometimes, especially when we serve the deities, we might think, well, wait a minute, I dressed you today, this morning, and you know, I've got to dress you again tomorrow? You know? Why don't you just stay dressed? No, but to give us service, Krishna allows us to dress him and decorate him and so on. This word also in this verse, sṛṣṭa. So from time to time I hear the term Srishti Lila. Have you heard this term, Srishti Lila? But I was curious, and to say, well, where is this term mentioned in Shastra? because I hear it quite a bit. We hear it, Srishti Leela, but Leela is not in that. Srishti Sthiti Pralaya. Yes, that's there. But where is Leela? It is in Adi, CC Adi something or other. The term is there, Srishti Leela. When describing Balaram, describing Balaram's service, we think Brahma, he is, he has to manifest. He goes to sleep and then he has to manifest. But before Brahma, there's Mahaviṣṇu. And Mahaviṣṇu, he goes to sleep too. And this time it all, including Brahma, he gets wound up. The whole show is wound up. But before Mahaviṣṇu, there's Shankarshan. And from where is Shankar? He is from Balaram. And Balaram is also continually creating. It's not that the spiritual world is static. It's made once and then it's done. I mean, we enjoy creation and new things, and this verse describes here in this purport, Prabhupada talks about how in the material world we're all busily engaged in making, what does he say here? Big enterprises, big houses, big empires, big industries, and so many big things. With such resources, he says, and at the cost of valuable energy the conditioned soul creates, satisfies his whims. So for sense gratification in this material world, based on whimsical desire, we're busy creating and making and doing, and all over the place we're doing and doing. Therefore, some spiritualists, observing all of the futility of this, because it is obviously futile. This is not only observed by the devotees. There's a wonderful book called, that Jayadvaita Maharaj has written, called Vanity Karma. And how many of you have seen this book or read it? You've seen it? Now, even if you haven't, perhaps some of you are familiar with the core of it, which is a comparison between a book in the Abrahamic tradition called in Hebrew Koheleth, or in Greek Ecclesiastes. And there are some famous terms there. The book itself is called Vanity Karma, after one of these statements in this Koheleth, and Koheleth is called the teacher, or where he says, vanity, all is vanity. There's another term, common saying, there's nothing new under the sun. This is from there. So this is an observation that everyone with some intelligence, and Prabhupada describes that here, that the foolish conditioned soul who has taken this temporary world as a permanent settlement has to learn intelligently why such creation and destruction take place. So first he has to intelligently see, look around you. Unfortunately, today it's becoming more and more in our face. The creation and destruction, the Krishna says, what is it? Abrahmana bhuvana loka. Huh? Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. That this world is temporary and full of misery. Conditioned soul tries to ignore this, thinking Yes, but. Yes, but. There's that beautiful illustration. Some of you may have seen it, and you've probably have heard the description of a man. He's hanging on the branch of a tree. Below that branch, you've seen this? Yeah. We'll describe it because it's fun. So below this branch of the tree, there's a pool. What's in the pool? Snakes. What's outside the pool? A tiger. So below him, there's tigers and snakes and a pool. Even if they don't get him, he'll drown in the pool too. And he's hanging onto this branch. And what's going on with that branch? Do what? You do. We all have that experience. Chewing. They love to chew things, right? So they're chewing. They're not eating it, they're just chewing on it. They don't get any food from it. But they're chewing. So that branch is getting chewed. He's hanging on. But above him, there's, in different pictures, the one I remember calling, there's actually a honeycomb. And from this honeycomb, there are little drops of honey, which are dripping down. And this man is holding on, he's got his tongue stuck out. This is his enjoyment. This is actually the fact. Our enjoyment in this material world is like that. With intelligence, we need to look around and see what's actually going on. And then, of course, then the question comes, why? Why? That's Prabhupada states here, that the first intelligence to see this is going on, this big creation. Brahmā, he understands, he knows. I want to finish my previous thought, though, about Balaram and the spiritual world. In this world, big things are created, and they're manifest, and they're annihilated, and they're coming, and they're going, and they give us some little tiny bit of happiness, which we amplify and think we're happy, till we get old, till we get sick, till our loved ones die, or we die, till we lose everything. But the spiritual world is also full of activity, also full of creation. Balaram is continually manifesting the jivas in the spiritual world with his empowerment and with these shaktis of the Chit Shakti and the Hladini Shakti and the Samvit. All of these Shaktis, they are continuously manifesting, and they also redo things. There's also day and night. There's also sleeping. There's also a fresh day. There's something that goes. Krishna sometimes just forgets in order to experience anew. Particularly his Purva Rag, that special ras of the lover before meeting the beloved. So in order to experience that, it all gets done again and created in anew and afresh and ever expanding. So even though Prabhupada says that we are, that instead of wasting our time and energy and matter which will be destroyed, we should utilize our energy to serve Krishna so that we can go to his world.
The purport begins with Krishna's instruction in the Bhagavad-gītā, which we can just read here, the second verse, verse 20. Parastasmat tu bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yassa sarveshu bhuteshu nasyatsu na navishyati. Yet there is another unmanifest nature, which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. Now, this verse could easily be misinterpreted very often, because what is the word that Krishna uses here? Avyaktat. Avyaktat. So, literally, this means unmanifest. Excuse me. My legs. See, this is old age. So, impersonal, without form, without quality, unmanifest. If we take the meaning of manifest to mean created and with form and qualities and so on, then what is the unmanifest? Brahman. So this verse can be misinterpreted to indicate that the only reality beyond this manifest world is a unmanifest existence, the Brahman. This would be unfortunate, and is very unfortunate. But this is unfortunately the conclusion of so many who interpret the Bhagavad-gītā. That when Krishna says, come to me, you come to me, mom, all of these mom, all of the verses and so on that describe, you will come to me, you will come to me, you will come to me, is interpreted to enter into the Brahman. Therefore, we need the Srimad Bhagavatam to give us the real information of how in that same unmanifest, meaning without material manifestation, without the forces of material nature, there is a spiritual world. So to enter into that spiritual world, we have to redirect our energy in this world. Prabhupada begins this purport by saying how we have to understand why the creation. And he concludes by answering his question. Two things. The temporary creation is thus exhibited and destroyed just to give information to the conditioned soul who is attached to temporary things. Number one. Number two, it is also meant to give him a chance for self-realization and not for sense gratification, which is the prime aim of all fruitive actors. The intelligent person, after looking at this world, seeing the futility of trying to enjoy in this world. Although that is what is driving all of us. We are all here because we want to enjoy this world. we can also say that Prabhupada doesn't mention this, but the first why of this material world is to give us this opportunity to attempt to enjoy the material world. But that why is not Krishna's why. Krishna's purpose is not that we can enjoy the material world. He doesn't give us this material world with the hope, yeah, get it on, yeah, go for it, yeah, sure. Just like, those of you who have children, or you've observed in the material world, a father and the parents, they look at their children and they say, yeah, come on, go to college, yeah, get that good degree, yeah, get that job, yeah, go for it. That's the message. Just do it, get it, go for it. You can, yes. You can get it, yes. You can enjoy, yes. That's the message that is constantly being communicated in our material world. But that's not Krishna's message. He says, here it is. He doesn't say, yeah, go for it, yeah, sure. No. Okay, you want it. Prabhupada often gives the example of the child in the fire. The child is looking at the fire and so very attracted. Looks very, wants to touch it. Children want to touch everything. And after touching it, what do they want to do? They want to put it in their mouth, right? That's babies, can I eat this? So, fire is very attractive. I want to touch it. Mother says, no, it will burn you, It's not. But finally the child says, no, I want. Then, all right, go ahead. That's Krishna's attitude towards making this material world. For Prabhupada, what he says here, the temporary creation is thus exhibited and destroyed to give information. Give information. Yes, you, Jiva, you're thinking you can enjoy independently of me. Okay, you're thinking, I'm telling you, no, you can't, but you won't listen. Okay, try. Try it out. Go ahead. Knock yourself out. That's what we do. We come in the material world and we knock ourselves out trying to enjoy this material world. But it's so constructed so well that we learn. We've got to, of course, some of us are stubborn. It takes many lifetimes to learn. Unfortunately, we have to go in and out of so many species of life. But eventually, something else happens. Because Prabhupada says here, so yes, it's to give information. So the information is there, but we're not learning it, we're not accepting it, we're not realizing it. We're seeing, what was it that in the Mahabharata, the questions of the yaksha, right? What was the most surprising, most wonderful thing? That we see people dying everywhere, we see every destruction, we see everything falling apart, and yet we think our creation, our lives, they will succeed. So we're not learning. But fortunately, Krishna has a parallel plan in his creation. And that is to give us, to actually give us his mercy through his devotees. He gives us his mercy. Brahmanda Brahmeti Kona Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasada Pai Bhakti Lata Beach. We wander, we go up and we go down. But because it is his plan, because it is Krishna's plan, this, I've heard, and I've been searching for the evidence, that when we talk about Krishna's Srishti Leela, that the Leela, his Leela in this creation is to reclaim us fallen souls, to bring us back. And he does this in so many different ways. That same picture we were talking about, which has the man, you know, the ones I've seen, also has Krishna holding his hand out, ready to rescue that soul. So Krishna is offering us. Krishna comes to us. Krishna is within us. He accompanies us. He doesn't let us, he said, okay, just like the Father said, all right, go touch the fire. The Father doesn't go away into another room. He's watching, okay, don't, you know, okay, you can touch it, but don't. Yeah. He's ready to get in there. So Krishna is doing that too. Say, all right, go, knock yourself out. I'm here. I'm always here. I'll be with you. I'll be always with you. You may not know, you may forget, but I am here. And as soon as you wake up a bit, I'm ready to take you back, to lead you forward, so you can come back and where you belong, where you truly belong. So that is the promise of Krishna. That is his promise. And this Bhagavatam helps us just, let's understand where we are. Let's really, truly get down and see that it is Krishna. This verse particularly also says that it is Krishna in the form of Rudra. It is Krishna in the form. It is actually Krishna doing it. He may do it through his devotees. Brahmā, Rudra, he may do it himself in his expansion, his Viṣṇu, but it's ultimately him doing everything. And it is ultimately him within our hearts who will take us home by connecting us to him in his holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So we have some time, 5 minutes, for some reflections, comments, questions. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much for this wonderful class. I remember seeing it online when you gave a class standing up.
Yes.
You make it very lively, so I've been following those classes. Prabhuji, just one quick question, bit technical here, and you just mentioned in your last closing remarks that Krishna in his form of Rudra or Śiva. I'm a bit confused with these two words for following reasons, and please, I'm requesting for clarification on this. One is, if we look at Bhagavad-gītā 10:23, Rudranam Shankaras Chasmi. So of all the Rudras, I am Lord Śiva. So of all the Rudras, I am Lord Śiva. But I was asked, so let's park it on one side, saying, okay, of the Rudras, he's Lord Śiva. But I was once asked to give a class on Hanuman Jayanti, and I read through a ISKCON book called the Chronicles of Hanuman, which states something differently, a conversation between Parvati and Lord Śiva, where Lord Śiva is preparing to go back on the earth to assist Bhagwan Ram in his pastimes. Where it seems, he says, he told her that though Ravana had managed to please his 10 expansions or Rudras, he had dissatisfied and actually angered his 11th expansion. Lord Śiva explained that his 11th expansion would incarnate on this earth as Hanuman. So it seems it's Shiva first and Rudra afterwards, as per this book. But from Bhagavad-gītā, it seems, of all the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. So it's Rudras first and then Lord Shiva. Which seems to be the... How do we...
This reminds me of something that, I don't know who said it, but someone said that there are two tattvas that are most difficult. There's Shiva tattva and Guru tattva. Very mysterious. I think they're all mysterious. I find everything to be, I find mystery in every tattva, Jiva tattva included. But yeah, I mean, when these terms and the names, they have their place in so many different, like Rudra is born from Brahmā, but then we have Śiva, who is Sada Śiva, and we have all kinds of, so tracing out the beginnings and endings and middles of these relationships between Rudras and Śiva and so on is not something that I am qualified to explain. And so I think you'll have to ask Lord Śiva if you can explain, you know, what's going on. I don't know. Hare Krishna. Any other questions or comments? Yes, back there, or?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, because there is this topic of manifested, unmanifested, temporary, eternal. I was thinking, because it's said that the position of Mayapur is eternal, actually, and I was thinking, what's the position of the ISKCON centers which are created all over the world? Like, you can have in some place, you can have new Mayapur, for example. So was you know? Okay, you got it.
Yes. Good question. I know that Prabhupada said we'll have another ISKCON in the spiritual world. But I think, you know, there is, just like here, Mayapur, like you were describing, that there is the eternal Mayapur Dham. And then there's the Mayapur Dham that we're perceiving here. Are there, you know, wherever we have ISKCON centers with installed deities, Radha Govinda, Krishna Balaram, I would say some of these deities, you know, they are manifesting here in with those names that Prabhupada gave them. There must be some connection. But then when I go to Radha Paris Ishvara, then I think, you know, is there a Paris? Maybe there is. I don't. Now I can't answer your question. I don't know. I mean, the spiritual world is so far beyond our ability to comprehend based on our experience of this world. We know something. I mean, we can, because this is a reflection. What we experience here in this world is a reflection, but it's as, you know, the example of that reflection is given like the reflection of a tree in a pool of water. You know, how much can you understand of the tree by looking at its reflection? You can see something of its form, you can see something of how it moves, but it's very, very limited. So our understanding of the spiritual world, and especially my understanding of the spiritual world, is very, very limited. So I can't answer your question. So, all right. Is there any other? We have time for maybe one more question or comment.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu, and welcome back to Mayapur. My question is, as we can see from this verse, the futility of sense gratification, and devotees understanding that take to the path of bhakti yoga. But the rest of the world is still so much in the darkness of ignorance. And to bring in the golden age, we need to make devotees wholesale. How can we do that?
Well, I think we all have to become devotees first.
Hari Bol.
Because I don't know about, I mean, I know that I still have a long ways to go to really be free of the desire to enjoy on some level, to see myself fully and understand and really identify, completely identify. I was reflecting the other day, we were just speaking about it, that our progress in self-realization begins with observing the world and how futile it is. But then it progresses to, well, who, we start asking, who am I? And I was reflecting that actually, that when we start to, our path of realization begins not with actually who am I, but what am I? That we begin to understand, well, I'm not a material thing. I'm a conscious being. But then we have to progress beyond that, because that's the Brahman realization. That's the, I'm not my body. That's the kind of the what of self-realization. But then we have to go further. We have to say, well, all right, but am I a person? And then we reflect and say, well, okay, I am a being, but I have individuality. So that next stage, sorry, I don't know what, that next stage of realization is to begin to say, okay, yeah, I'm an individual, I'm a person, but I'm a conditioned soul. And then we begin to try to identify, well, who am I really? And then we wake up to say, actually, I'm a servant of God. I'm a servant of Krishna. But to really identify 100% with being a servant of Krishna at every moment, that's our work. That's the work that we are engaged in right now. And the more we can do that, then the more I believe we can convince others to do that. So we have to be servants. This world is progressing according to some, we look around the world and see what's going on with the wars that are increasing, the climate change, all the disasters that are increasing. And at least for me, I look around and think, Krishna's got some plan here. And these are not things, I don't encourage any of you to go out and figure out how to start a war somewhere. But things are going to happen and going on. How do we respond to these? How do we deal with it? So Prabhupada gave us a big menu of ways in which to respond and to participate in the spread of Krishna consciousness. This Mayapur project is one of those. And let's all try to realize how this project can actually help change the world. I would suggest that if we look around in our individual lifestyles and capacity and community, that we ourselves are not yet able to show the world how Krishna consciousness can solve every problem. So I would say that at least is one way to do what you're describe it. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.